Good morning or afternoon or whenever you are taking a minute to watch this. Here's Terry from Tuesday Tidbits again. Now this is a technique that we have talked about before, and something new has come out on the market that we can kind of tweak things a little bit and also do it again. Back in the old days, they used to have, and they still are available, these are called Appliquick Tools, and they're wonderful for any small appliques. These are a little bit harder to get, and they're really, really nice. So if you have them, you're really, really lucky.
And they're really, really costly.
And they're a little bit pricey. They are a little bit pricey.
Not a little bit.
Yeah, I think that they're worth every penny that I paid for them, so I have no regrets. But a new thing has come out on the market, and it's by Gypsy Quilter. And it comes in this handy dandy. I think I was going to put like on my belt, like, you know, you do a construction guy. And
you'd have to have a butt crack.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about that. It's a really nice little case, and they have done their own version of them. And it's a little bit more extended. There's more in it, but we can do the same thing. But I'm just going to real quick go over these with you. So there's three tools in this little pouch, and it's nice because on the back of the packaging they tell you what each tool is and what it is used for. There's a tube turner that if you're making like stems and you want to turn them, or tubes, anything like that, that's for that. This is if you're doing a little, Marty's, I hope you don't get seasick on this one because we're going to be going up and down. This one is if you're pressing seams open or holding something, that's what that is for. This one is a little ball thing, and again, a little presser thing. Not quite sure what that's for, but
that works with the tube turner too, doesn't it?
I think you can jam it down.
Yes.
Another thing they do is on the actual handle here, this is a 1/4 inch, so if you ever have to measure your 1/4 inch and mark it, that is also there, so that's on the middle. Now, it's the other two ends that I like the best, and they actually have little
safety guards for those of us that pokey ourselves.
Yes. This is a little pointer. It's almost like an awl. You could use it as an awl. Or what else do they call them?
Stilettos.
Stilettos. Thank you, stilettos. And then this is my little turning finger. What they call it?
So that one's flatter, right?
Yes, they call it a tape.
Together for me.
They call it a tapered finger.
There you go.
Can you see that?
Yes, now I can.
So we have pointy, and tapered finger. All right.
It has a flat spot on it.
Right, it has a flat spot. So what I'm going to do, and not try to take all day for you today, but I want to show you how and why we use these, because we had taken this video off because we couldn't get the other ones anymore. So now I'm going to revisit that whole technique. So this is a way to turn to applique that for tiny pieces are it's the absolute best. I get excited when I just even think about it. So I have a project that I have wanted to do since this came out. This is called Christmas Fun, and it's Linda Anderson's. Is it shining? I've wanted to do this again since the pattern came in. We do have the pattern still here, and the fun part about this Christmas Fun is that there are buttons, hand-painted buttons that go on it, and they're all included with the pattern.
If any of you are familiar with Lynette Anderson's, you know she does little things.
She likes to do little things. The whole thing is 23 by 32.
Smell.
And so there's piecing, there's applique, there's embroidery. So if you like all of them, that's what you do. So the first thing you have to do is you have to isolate all your pieces that you're going to applique. And what she does is she does it by the block. So what I did is I went through the pattern. Come on. And I went through each block, and I determined what pieces actually had to be applique shapes. And it tells you right here, applique templates. So what I did, and it's really nice if you have a copier at your disposal. I went through and I made copies of each one of the applique templates on each page. And then what I did, because I'm cheap, is I took those pages.
No, you're frugal.
I'm frugal. That's a better way to put it.
Yes,
I'm
it is.
frugal.
Cheap is not a good word. Frugal.
All right. So I took all of those pieces and I cut them out and I tacked them down to an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. The reason being is the first thing in this technique you have to make, taking the applique paper, which the Hugs and Kisses, it's a fusible one-sided applique sheet. I'm not going to pull it out. It's this stuff. It's a paper you can run through your printer. And what I did is I made a copy of this page onto here. So instead of doing 3 or 4 on one sheet, 3 or 4 on another sheet, and wasting every sheet, I got them all onto one, made one copy, one sheet was all I needed to use. I hope that's understandable.
You made a master.
I made a master, yes. So, I guess, whatever. So anyways, and then what you do is when you get ready to start getting your applique pieces ready, is you start cutting these out on the line. You do not leave yourself in seam allowances, you cut them out on the line. And you want to do a good job too, because if you have a jig jog on your angel's dress, you're going to have a jig jog on your applique. So you want to cut these out nice and very clean and very smooth. So then what you do, because remember I said it was fusible one side, you're going to fuse it onto the back side of your fabric, like a so. And then you're going to cut it out. Can you see on the beige? Okay, so then you're going to cut it out. Now, my words of wisdom to people on this stage is cut it out a little bit big. You can always trim it down. If you cut it too little, then you have to start over again. So give yourself just a little bit of growing room, and that's what you're going to do. So then when you cut it out, if there is, like on the heart, you've got this inside here, you got to make a little snip. Or if you're doing this Santa's...
Well, that's why I did on the piece that I put on the black. You can see you've already snipped that.
Oh, can you see? I did do a couple snips right there.
Yes.
If I'm doing this...
inside curves.
Inside curves. If I'm doing, and again, leave a little bit more rather than a little bit less. You can always get rid of it later. But you don't have to be precise or anything like that. So on this one, again, I'm going to go in here. And I don't cut it all the way to the paper. I cut it a thread away from the paper. All right, let's do this little guy because he looks like he's going to be fun. So the other thing you need, so at this point you need the paper. You've made all your copies. You've fused them onto your fabric, the back side of your fabric. Now you also need a glue stick. The big fat ones are not my favorite. I have to move faster. Oh dear. Okay, the big fat ones are not my favorite because they get very glumpy. I like to use these guys. There's 101 different ones on the market. That's the type of thing I like. So Soline, Fons and Porter, whatever you want. As far as
people say to stick them in the freezer, but I would find with the Soline that's not necessary.
Well, I just find that if they sit too long, they're going to get a little glumpy anyways. Okay, so what we're going to do now. Oh, now you got me rattled, Marty. You got me rattled. Okay. This thing right here is called a grip and grip. It's a rubberized thing. You can't use an applique pressing sheet because that's slippery. This is it's not going to move around, and when we're working with our piece, it's going to stick where it's going to stay where it's going to stay. It's not going to slide around the table on you. So this is nice. It's not absolutely necessary, but it is nice. And we'll talk about these at the end.
But it's like a rubberized silicone mat, so it's easily washable too.
I wonder, no, those are slippery, the ones you get for baking. Yeah, so that wouldn't work. Okay, so you have that. You have the paper, you have this, you have your glue stick, and then you have your tools. Now, as I said before, mostly I use the flat spatula one and the pointy one. I am right-handed, so the flat spatula one goes in my right hand. This one is actually, for right now, for this purpose, it's going to be to hang on to my project. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my little glue stick. Yeah, in the heat, it just gets all melty. I'm going to hang on to my piece with this. I'm going to put some glue on, and I put it on both the paper and the fabric. All right? Now, Marty, I hope you can see this. So what I'm going to do is the flat side of my little spatula here, I'm going to start pushing this over and grabbing it with the other.
So you're kind of doing a rolling motion.
Right. I'm going like this with my thing. All right? And that is going to stick right to that glue. If you take too long and chat too much while you're doing it, the glue will dry. So what do? You put more glue on.
More glue.
More glue. And I could use a little touch of glue right there, but we'll see if we can make it work. Okay. Now, and you get to the point they're like chopsticks, I think. You just start using, they become an extension of your hand. You are not spending your whole day picking them up and putting them down. And when I first started using any of these tools, I was trying to use my left hand as my hand. It is much, much easier to use both tools. Trust me.
Get yourself used to it.
Yeah, it's like with any tool. You've got to get used to it, and it'll be worth it in the end.
Force yourself, and it will become habit.
Well, I hate to say force, but yes, you do. Push yourself to do it. So now I'm going to take that little tip. This is the Santa's beard, by the way. I don't know if I said that. But you see how I'm just pulling that over? And I'm actually pulling it this way towards me. And that is curving that right around that bottom of that beard. And the ideal is what we're going to end up with is a perfectly smooth beard. We learned about this tool from Lynette Anderson, and I will be forever grateful to her for introducing us to these tools, because I love to applique, but I have never been able to master needle turn applique. Never managed. And this is so much easier. Now this one, I just need to worry about in there because I think the mustache is going to come over there. So I'm just going to cut a little bit of this off. I'm sorry, I'm trying to hurry. If you're getting bored, I'm sorry. You can't hurry perfection. So I'm just going to get that on there like that. Hang on to it with my poker. And sometimes the poker, if you have to have a really tiny spot, the poker works really well. That end. Okay, let's get you down. And that goes up. This is not a speed process, but boy, I tell you, it's worth it. So, now down here I have a little bit of a, see how that's a look? Can you see, Marty? That's a raw edge. When I'm stitching this down, I'll stitch up to this point, and then I'm just going to tuck that right underneath it with my needle, and you will have a perfect point on there. I mean, you can't get any sharper.
And for those of you that are not hand appliquers, you can also use this to prep for machine quilting too, because I'm not a hand appliquer, but I do love doing machine. But it's a nightmare to try to prep these little pieces by freezer paper or stuff like that. You can still prep them the exact same way and then just go ahead and machine stitch them.
Exactly. And I did this piece, that's okay. I did this piece earlier just because I want to show you how tiny you can go. This is his mustache. Whoops, there's a little thread there. Let me get rid of that. There we go. That is his mustache. Now, would you ever in your wildest dreams imagine needle turning that? But that, I am assuming, is going to go just like that on my little Santa's face. Cute. Now, let me just, I know I'm running long, but I want to show you one other thing. Okay, on a heart. Oh, I have too many more things I want to show you, but I won't. I won't take the time. On the heart, let me just whack this off real quick. You see, I'm really worried about accuracy. You don't on this. On an inside, and it needs to be ironed down, but we're going to try to make it work. Okay, and then remember I said you have to make a snip down here. So what I'm going to do is I'm coming around, and this is real. Remember when I said I was pulling it towards me? This really is when that really comes out. So when I'm going around this curve, if I just started pushing, you're going to end up with little points. So when you do this and you pull it towards you,
it's like pleating it in.
You're almost pleating it in, but you don't end up with little points on the outside edge. You get that perfectly, just like I did. Where did my if you look at the perfectly smooth round edge there. So when I'm getting here to this little inside thing, and my glue dried because I talked too long.
Well, you can see she's rotating the piece too while she's doing it. It's not having to put the sticks down, rotate it. And
you don't drop these really until you have to do it. And on this, because it's so small in here, I actually traded, and I'm using my little pointer thing, and that is what I'm going to roll that over with. And then this side will roll over like that. And again, you have, and then if you need to, put another little dab of glue on it, and that'll hold it down until such times as you get ready to stitch it. But you can go ahead and prep all of your pieces. There we go. I don't want to take all your time to show you this, but that's pretty good. That's not bad at all. So, because here's my little heart. There's another heart that I already did. And again, I have this little dog ear down here. So once I'm all done, I'll come back in here and I'll snip a little bit of that off. I'll stitch down and I'll tuck that right underneath with my needle and you won't even know it's there. So that is basically how these work. They're wonderful. Again, you feel like you're all thumbs when you first start with them, but once you, this little hat I have to do, that is going to be so easy to do. And I would not want to have to needle turn that. So real quick, what we've got for you today is we did a couple package deals. If you want the, these are called Stitchy Sticks. And if you want these, it comes with all of this and this. Okay, I have to have my cheat sheet here. These, just the set itself is $45. This is not a cheap thing, but it's a good investment. Now that's what we're selling them for. And this will be good until next Tuesday, next Monday night. Monday night till next Tuesday's Tidbits.
But the 45 is already a reduction because
Yes,
they normally retail for like 55.
55, yeah. But I really truly feel that everybody should have one of these in their arsenals. So these are, we're selling them for $45. The grippy grip thing here, we're selling it for $15. The applique paper, which there's 20 sheets in there that will last you for 3 years at least. If you're a mad appliquer or split it with a friend, this is $25. There's 20 sheets, it's for $25. But we're also going to do 2 little combo packs. So if you want the Stitchy Sticks and the Grip and Grip, we're selling those for $50. That's a $10 saving. Or if you want all 3 pieces, the Grippy Grip, the Stitchy Sticks, and the applique paper.
Say that one 4 times fast.
That's $70, and that's a $15 saving.
Actually, it's more than that, but
yes, it's more than that, but that's what we're doing. So if you ever wanted to try these things, now is a good time to do it. Yep. If you ever really liked this pattern, we do still have a couple of them left, and that was the buttons and the pattern, and that was $70 because they are hand-painted buttons. Okay, I think that that's all we have for you today.
So remember, all of the pricing goes until next Monday night.
Yes.
But there's a drop-down box, so you should be able to select any quantity that you want.
Right, and we don't have, Christmas isn't next week. It is next week? No.
I think so.
Is Christmas next week?
I think so.
We're not sure. We'll see you for Christmas in August. We'll let you know. Okay? Bye.